Hello and welcome. My name is TyrionLanstr. Alright, so today I want to talk about specifically Commander Awakening level 4 skills, but now for kind of the medium spender. We talked last time about if you're a free-to-play player, which level 4-star awakenings do you want to go for, but now let's talk about what to do if you're kind of a mid-tier spender. So, here's what I'm going to do. Obviously, it depends on your castle a lot. That's going to determine what you should be going for. And I also want to talk a little bit about these kind of presets that they have, the recommendations. I think that those are a really good guide for what is best to go for. But I'm also going to just talk a little bit generally about some different strategies you might have. So the first thing I'm going to discuss is the fact that if you are a mid-tier spender, there are still some free-to-play commanders that you may want to use. Now, let's start with the first one, and I think that that is probably Arya. Why is Arya maybe one that you're still going to use? Well, that's for a couple of reasons. First of all, her at 4 stars, she's giving 24% total attack, along with an additional 14.4. So already we're up at 38% total attack. That's instantly going to be very, very valuable to us. And then we also have on top of that her 4-star skill, which is pretty good. It's giving us extra skill damage. That's a good thing. So, for starters, you may end up wanting to use Arya. You're getting a 4-star skill out of just using elite tokens, not the epic ones, and I'm kind of operating under the assumption that you can't just get as many 4-star skills as you want, so Arya may be one that you still want. Now, the next one I'll talk about is Seg. Very similarly to Arya, Seg is a commander that gives total attack. He gives 19.3 in addition to his 24%, but he also gives total health and total defense, making Seg a really, really valuable commander. And importantly, what makes both Seg and Arya so valuable is that they give this huge attack buff, and they only cost you elite tokens, not those super expensive and valuable epic tokens. Additionally, the 4-star skill for Seg gives you a 13% boost to your total stats for the first 10 seconds of battle. Definitely a good one. So let's put both Arya and Seg aside. Those are good ones where it's easy to get them to 4 stars. They have decent 4-star skills, lots of good stats. Definitely good ones to get. Building off of the two of them, the next couple commanders that I would say are pretty universally really good. First is Annie. And Annie, for the reason that, just like Seg and Arya, she gives total stats. But Annie gives a good bit more, and this makes sense. She is paid, she should be a little bit better. You're getting 21% total attack from Annie, as well as 16.5% total health and 22% total defense. Now, Annie's 4-star skill sounds pretty good. In actuality, it's not quite as strong as you think. And if we're looking at really conserving our epic tokens, I would recommend holding off on Annie. There are other commanders that I would recommend before her in terms of getting a 4-star skill. Okay, the next one let's talk about is Julian. So the thing about Julian is that he, basically just gives total attack, but he gives so much more than any other total attack commander normally would, because he's giving infantry, cavalry, and spearmen attack. But he's giving you 48%, twice as much as the others were in their passive. And then in his awakening, we get an additional 26% of infant cav and 28% from spearmen. So in total, you're getting a ton of stats out of this guy. Basically the same amount of stats as you would get if you were, doing Lyanna, or, she's giving 48% and then another 26. So it's basically the same thing if you're Cav in terms of the attack that you're getting out of them. But Julian, sorry about that. But Julian works for any troop type. So again, that makes him really valuable because it's basically like total attack. You get it for all of them. So right now we have this set of Julian, Annie, Seg, and Arya. And between the 4 of them, you only need to get epic tokens on 2 of them. But these are all total attack stats, so they're good for anyone. And here's the last one that I wanted to talk about within this group. That's Theon. Now, Theon is another person who gives total attack. Additionally, he gives a huge buff of 21%, just like Annie did, of total attack increase. So he's giving you another big buff to total attack. He's also giving you a lot of bow stats and fortification attack that may not be super helpful, but a lot of total attack is always a good thing. Now, you'll notice that I have Theon at 4-star. He's the only paid commander I have at 4-star, and I'm going to explain why in a second. The first reason why is because it makes him really good against rebel leaders in the training ground. He's just a really great commander for that. I love the fact that it means that I get a lot of extra damage out of him. His actual skill does a ton more because of this, and that is great for me. And I like that his stats now are really huge, makes him strong. But his 4-star awakening skill means that if I have, for every 3 million troops I have in my battle when I'm defending, I get a bonus 10% total attack. So between having those 5 commanders, I only need to have 1 epic 4-star awakening, but I'm getting a ton of bonus total attack. And if I am doing a city defense, this is going to be hugely helpful because I've got all my troops fighting, and I don't really want just 1 troop type attack. I want total attack. So I have all 4 troops that are going to be doing attacking, and I want to have as many stats on each of them as I can to do the most damage. So from this perspective, those 5 are a very formidable rally tanking setup right there. I've got total attack on each of them, and I'm going to have a lot of it. So you might be able to be rally tanking if you can get enough troops in there and you have a 4-star Theon. Alright, that's kind of the first, if you're going to rally tank, the cheapest way, in my opinion, to do it in a way that doesn't cost as many epic tokens, I would go for that setup. Now, the next setup I want to talk about is a kind of older setup that people are probably familiar with, but it's basically what I call the girl attack. And that is using any, combination of Layla, Cersei, all the rest of them. They synergize really, really well. And that is, you'll notice here they have this lineup. You'll notice that it's an all-female lineup on both of these, and it's for a good reason. It's because if you look at Layla's 4-star skill, what she does is she basically helps all of your other female commanders to do a lot more damage. Basically, whenever one of them uses an active skill, there's a 30% chance of doing it again, a 10% chance of using it a 3rd time, and a 3% chance of it being used a 4th time. So she's basically giving you extra chances to use your active skills. Clearly, this is really strong. So if you can synergize her 4-star skill, which as you can see, I don't have it yet, but you need to have her 4-star skill, and then let's think about who you can combine that with. Well, Annie, we said that's a female commander that's strong. Arya, another strong female commander. And then it depends on what troop types you want to go for. If you're using Layla, she's giving you total attack as well as some cab stats. So from there, you could really go anywhere. If you wanted to then go with, I don't know, if you wanted to get Rhea all the way up there, her 4-star doesn't work very well, but you could use her at just 3 stars. She would work very nicely. You could use someone like Latz would go very well with her. You could use someone like Salma or Miranda or Lyanna. There are really plenty of different options that you could do with her. Obviously, the best would be Cersei, but we're focusing on mid-tier spenders, and I'm assuming none of you have an Awakened Cersei. Alright, so that's kind of the female lineups that we could do. The next one I want to talk about is the weakness attack setup. And that's what I'm actually setting up my account to be able to do. But that all surrounds working with Jaime. And what Jaime Lannister's ability does is the weakness attacks, where basically once your lineup heals itself, you get weakness attacks, and those are going to deal extra damage to your opponent. So it's all about getting healing going as quickly as possible. So the ways to get healing, there are a couple of different ways. You can use Hector's 4-star awakening. His will get it there, but he's very hard to get to. I think the easiest way to do it for most people is either using a 4-star Enzo, a 4-star Drake, or a 4-star Latz. Any of them will get it done for you. I will also add, though, there is a free-to-play commander that can get you healing, and that is Arslan. So Arslan, I actually haven't awakened him fully yet. I want to get Sheila done to 4 stars first, but then Arslan's the next one I'm doing because he heals. Every 8 seconds in battle, he will heal 2% of the wounded for the ally. with the greatest losses. So that's healing. I get weakness attacks out of that. That's really, really great because I get my Jaime skills going on, and that's a good synergy. And again, free commander, meaning that I can use my elite tokens, not the expensive epic ones. The disadvantage of this weakness attack setup is that you need to get more than one commander to level 4 star if you're not using Arslan. If you're using Arslan, he can be your healer, or the other way you can do it is if you have a dragon healing effect. But other than that, you're going to need another 4-star commander to be healing. And again, for my setup, it'll probably end up being Enzo, just since I already have him golden 3-star, it's easy enough to get him to 4. So if I get him 4-star, if I get Jaime 4-star, then I've got a really nice looking weakness setup going. Okay, so those are the base two, setups that we have right now. We also have the new setup, I'll show it through Rhea, that's kind of this whole bleed effect status, and that really works around Sandor, but it's basically this idea that, instead of doing active skills, you just do normal attacks more, and they do more damage, or they crit. So, you can see here the commanders for it. Kevin works well with it, Sonara works well with it, Rhea works well with it. It's a pretty new one. I'm pretty sure Barrett actually also works well with it. Yeah, you can see that they have Barrett in there too. And it's just anything that's making you do more normal attacks is going to be good. I'm not going to get too far into that one just because it's still pretty new, and again, it really does kind of rely on you having one of those tier 4s, so it's not going to be quite as effective. Or, yeah, not tier 4s, but like top 5, one of the big elite commanders. And just the reality is that all of these are better with them, but you can still be a pretty formidable opponent without one of them if you follow one of those setups. So I hope this was really helpful in you learning what types of things to spend on as a mid-tier player. I would say that in general, ones that I would really focus on getting to 4-star is going to be Theon, Jaime for sure, Layla for sure, and then, if you're doing Jaime, probably an Enzo or a Drake or a Lats. If you did Layla, I think that it's more important to just get all of those female commanders to 3-star and then just be able to use their active skills, and that's going to be the most important thing. Okay, well, I hope this was helpful for everyone. I hope you learned a thing or two about which mid-tier commanders are going to be best, what to awaken to 4 stars and what synergies to do. Until next time, though, my name is TyrionLanstr, and I'll see you then.